welcome to Balancing the Act. Today I have with me Avni Gupta, who is a communications professional, a cat mom, and a fitness enthusiast. So thank you, Avni, for taking the time out and being on Balancing the Act.
Thanks, Kevin. It's a pleasure to be here.
So Avni, just let's dive into what you do and how you do it. We understand that you're a communications professional. So tell us a little about your recent job and what you've been up to.
So, I'm a communications professional. It's been about 5 years since I've been in this profession, and I have a PR as well as corporate communication experience. And since the past 1 year, I have been working in the corporate communication division of a digital marketing agency. So I've been leading the branding and communications for this particular agency, and right from social media to PR to awards, etc. I've been leading this particular mandate. So that's what I've been up to.
So this podcast, strictly talks about how you balance the act between your job that we've already understood, and now we would like to understand the travel bit. I know it's been a while since we all have traveled. In fact, now the pandemic's a little bit chilled out, and we have traveled to a lot of places. So tell us your story on what your journey towards a place was, or what destination did you go to, or what do you like when you travel?
Since the past, I think 2 years, it's been almost 2 years since the pandemic hit us. My vacations have mostly been focused on completely relaxing and rejuvenating. I've been to Goa and Delhi, and both the trips I was like, I have to completely relax and be completely stress free by the end of it, because we're all working from home and it's extremely hectic. Yeah, whatever opportunities I've got, I've made sure that has been an objective. Prior to the pandemic, I did a trek to Buran Ghati in Himachal Pradesh. That's primarily what I'd like to discuss with you on this podcast.
Tell us your experience on what did you do, how did you do it differently, or you didn't do it differently, you just went for the trek. What was your experience?
No, it was not the kind of trek where I could just pack my bags and go. It was a trek which required an adequate amount of preparation. So I started preparing 3 months in advance for the trek. And I applied for leave also 3 months in advance. And I remember one of my superiors was like, "Tu 3 months pehle advance kar rahi hai, leave ke liye apply, tujhe mil jayega, don't worry,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I was very clear that I really wanted to go on this trek, and I primarily wanted to attempt this because the views that were there were very, very scenic on, as you got higher altitude wise. So that's primarily why I wanted to attempt this trek, and it was a trek that was of moderate difficulty. I went through India Hikes, which is an organization which arranges these treks for trek enthusiasts. This was a moderate difficulty trek, which was around 15,500 feet. I had to prepare in advance for it. So the fitness requisite was that you have to meet 5 kilometers under 35 to 40 minutes. So I struggled with it. I think I met the criteria just 2 weeks in advance. At that time, my clients were extremely hectic. I was working in PR at that point in time. I was working on an aviation account as well as a hospitality account. So my life was extremely hectic, and I would not get free before 8:30. But even if I was getting free at like 8:30 p.m., I ensured that I would go for the 9 p.m. cult class, because cult was just 200 meters away from me. So I made sure that I went for the class and my fitness levels were in check. And then every weekend I would dedicate to preparing for that 5 km, either on the cycle or on the treadmill or in the park. But I made sure that I could prepare for it, and I knew that by the time the trek took place, I was in physical shape to attempt the trek. So it's very important that your fitness levels are in check when you're attempting a trek of moderate difficulty. Easy treks are still okay. You need to have probably like an easy fitness routine going, but for the moderate difficulty ones, you have to be fit to attempt them.
So when you did this training, was it like a mix of weight training, or most of this was cardio exercises? Like how did you really prepare for it? So like, say suppose you want to do 5K, are you like going 5K every day, or is it like you do 4K, 2K, 3K, and then you eventually take on the kilometers?
So we had to meet 5 km in 35 to 45. So they really like, it's okay however you meet it, whether you focus only on cardio or, that's up to you, your individual choice. But, because I'm also a fitness enthusiast, I have always had strength training in my workout regimen, because we are women, and for us, as we grow older, the health of the muscles and bones is very important, which is why from a young age itself, I've focused a lot on strength training in my regime. So strength training was anyway a part of it, and I really enjoy it. Like, cardiovascular strength is very, very important when you're attempting a trek of this sort.
You told me about the preparation. Now, when you got there, was this like a budget trip, or did you budget this, or this was like, now I've planned this, I don't care about the money, I just want to get here?
So the duration of 7 days was actually 15,000. So I feel like India Hikes is easy on the pocket, because when you take those 7 days into account, your food is taken care of, your travel is taken care of, everything is taken care of. Like, once you give that 15,000 amount for that week, you don't have to shell a penny, so that way it's very economical. And also, when you consider the kind of experience that you're getting, it's something that you're going to cherish for a very, very long time. Like, I still have the images and the sites embedded in my memory. It's definitely worth the investment. Above and beyond this 15,000. So
Sorry.
Food also was taken care of by India Hikes. They usually gave us like khichdi or poha, or sometimes, like, I remember once there was a birthday that was there, and they very sweetly baked a cake. Like, there was this sponge cake that was there. So that was like a sweet moment. And apart from that, if you wanted to have sevaiye ki kheer and all, that was all like taken care of. And you actually have to leave it to the experts, because they know that if you're attempting this trek, what kind of diet the trekkers need to have. They are the people who have the expertise when it comes to that. So it was all taken care of by them.
So when you told me the reason to select this trek was the different landscapes that you saw from time to time, give me some descriptives of whether it was a good sunrise or stargazing at night, or like you mentioned, the way on top, like every some 1,000 meters you would see a new environment.
So I think we started at around 9,000 feet, and with every altitude that we covered, it was a trek that was spread across 7 days. So the sites were different. And I remember the first place that we got to, it was completely green, and there were like lush green meadows, cattle grazing and all of that. So that was very, very interesting, and we were all living in tents. So we were all very, very excited at that point in time. And at that point, even the climate was good. So it's not like we were battling extreme cold or anything. It was, good climate, lush green meadows, cattle grazing, and all of that. The challenge began after that particular, I think after 11,000 feet is where the challenge really began, because I remember it was raining a lot that particular day, and it was completely muddy and slushy. Walk to the next campsite was completely muddy. We were walking and walking and walking, and I was saying, "Kab aane wala hai? When is the campsite gonna come?" And then we finally arrived at the campsite, and even that was a very beautiful campsite. And but it was raining a lot. And then the next day we decided to go to Chandratal, which was a bit higher, and it was just a day's trek to assess whether we would be able to do the final trek or not. And when we reached there, there was snow, and we all started, playing with snow and, hitting each other with snowballs, and all of that was happening. And because we were in a huge group, there was a lot of bonding that was happening amongst all of us. So it was quite nice. But the thing is, interestingly, what happened is that I fell sick during the trek. I got very high fever. I was battling like diarrhea, dysentery and all. Also because I had taken Diamox, which is actually a medicine for acclimatization, and it didn't suit my system very well. So that happened. And I think after like Chandratal is like, a trial that the trek leaders usually do कि आप final summit कर पाओगे क्या नहीं. So then I think after that my trek leader came to me after dinner that night and said that Avni, I'm not sure whether you'll be able to do it. And I was like, no, like this cannot happen. Like this is not in my plan. I have prepared for this for 3 months and this has to happen. Come hail or storm, literally, however you want to take it. I'm like, this has to happen, like for sure. And I said, नहीं सर, मैं मतलब होगा, मैं आप कल मुझे देख लेना, अभी मेरा थोड़ा मुझे फीवर है, but कल से आप मुझे देख लेना. I'm going to start first in line, and you will really have no doubts about the fact that I can do this. And then the next day, that's exactly what happened. I was ready on time and went right in the beginning of the group, and I'm chalo sir, and he was like, हाँ मतलब this girl can. Then he got more confidence that I could do it. But yeah, then we went to the next campsite, and that was completely laden with snow because that was at around between 13,000 to 14,000 feet. So that was completely covered with snow, and it was a beautiful, campsite. It was extremely cold, but it was very, very beautiful.
Your fondest memory of this trip? Like I heard a few memories that you told me, someone's birthday being there, a cake being baked. Was it a place that gave you the fondest memory, or was it people who gave you these memories?
I would say it was a combination of both. I'll tell you, I mean, it's good that you bring this question up because I'll tell you one experience which I really want to share is that, I had battled all of this, like health conditions and, people doubting me and all of that. So I had gone through all of that. One night before the summit, before the, ascent to the summit. So if you speak to any, trek enthusiast or even a mountaineer, they'll tell you that, one night before the summit is like, you have butterflies in your stomach through the night, and it's very crucial for them. I was asleep and we had a call time of like 3 to 4 a.m. So we had to wake up at 3 to 4 a.m. because we had to start the climb to the summit. So I suddenly wanted to go to the washroom at like around 2 a.m. And I was like, I don't want to get out because beyond the tent, it was completely covered with snow. It was probably -4 or -5 degrees Celsius. I was very comfortable in my quilt and in my sleeping bag, and I did not want to get out. And I was like, I want to get up at 3 a.m. and I want to finish whatever I have to at that time. But it just so happened that I couldn't stay within my sleeping bag, and I had to venture out. And I ventured out, and I did not want to I did not want to wake up the people who were sleeping next to me. So very cautiously I ventured out of my tent. And Kevin, the visuals that I saw, like, it has been embedded in my memory. Like, I got out completely covered with snow. The mountains were completely covered with snow. There was snow till my knees, and when I looked up, the sky was completely bedecked with stars. And we are talking about a place which is really not tainted by any sort of pollution, and clear skies, completely, like, no pollution whatsoever. And it was just, I felt like I was on another planet. I did not feel like I was on Earth. And I was like, this, so I have to capture. I took out my phone, I tried to click pictures, but it was just not happening. Yeah, camera was not doing justice to what I was seeing. And I said, it's okay, I will have a good look around me and I will keep this in my memory. And even today, like, if I'm feeling low at any point in time, I remember that visual and I realize that no, life is really worth it. And life is beautiful, and such kind of beauty does exist around us. So we really have to be more aware of it.
One thing that now we have to listen to, now that you've brought it up in your conversations, you've reached, the story's already reached to 3 a.m., 4 a.m. You're going to take your coffee, you're going to have your breakfast, and now you're going to start climbing. So give us that highlight too, like, don't leave us on the cliff.
The day we decided to climb and reach the summit, first of all, I would really like to highlight the team spirit that was there. I mean, we all were there for each other as a team. If anybody needed additional gloves, additional woolens, people were very helpful. They helped me out. I helped them out in whatever capacity I could. And such kind of an expedition is actually a team thing. It is not a solo thing at all. So we were all like sure that as a team we had to reach this target. So we started climbing and it was completely dark. We had two trek leaders in front of us. One of the trek leaders, when the snow was very dense, because this was in the month of October. So he had to kind of, at some places, make the space for us to put our feet in and go to the next level. So that was happening. So there were two trek leaders ahead of us. There was one helper behind us. So we were adequately, there were two helpers, behind us. So we were adequately, well protected. When we started climbing, it was completely dark, but then, we reached the summit at around 8 a.m. And while we were, when I was going to reach the summit, I was getting palpitations. Like despite, at that time I was 26. So despite being young and, being fit, I was getting palpitations. And, so it was like, we were at that altitude and the summit was completely steep, so it was like you were almost climbing a wall. It was almost 90 degrees, so it was that kind of steepness that was there. But when we finally reached the summit, it was an altogether different feeling, because you battled all these challenges and you finally made it. So it was really an altogether different feeling, and I would really recommend trekking to anybody who would like to experience that, because we don't really experience it in our everyday lives.
So you did make a lot of friends, you made a lot of memories. So when are you planning to do your next trek?
So one of the treks that is there on my bucket list is the Kashmir Great Lakes trek.
Right.
Again, it is a trek that is... it has a lot of beautiful views. It's a very picturesque trek. But unfortunately, given the political situation of the area at the moment, I'm not sure if I can go for it. But fingers crossed, I would definitely want to go for it.
So my last episode was Abhishek, and I spoke to him about Kashmir. He's recently been there.
Oh, wow.
Seems quite doable, I feel, in the near future. And like always, I ask everybody their life lesson, and I'm going to ask you that as well. So, Avni, please tell me your life lesson.
My life lesson is that, this trek made me realize that if in case I want to set a goal and I work towards it, I can definitely achieve it. There's nothing stopping it, and it was a really good experience, because it's not that you encounter a challenge only when you're trekking. You encounter challenges in everyday life as well. It can come to your work, it can come to your emotions. All of us have faced so many challenges when it comes to the pandemic. But we as human beings have the spirit in us to overcome it. And this trek made me realize that, if at any point in time I'm feeling dejected or demotivated, I always look back at this trek and say that, Avni, if you could do that, you can do this. You don't have to feel this way, because you can do this. And it is really a motivating factor for me. So that's, I think, one thing that I learned during the trek.
So superb. I think it really makes sense to me also. And even when I feel low some days, I remember on how... so my story was more about getting down faster than the others rather than climbing up. So it's different to everybody, but thank you so much for being an amazing storyteller, for telling us your experience, and also being on Balancing Beginnings.
Thank you, Kevin, and it was great being a part of it, and all the best for the coming episode.
Feel free to follow, like and share. Thank you for your time, and as always, stay safe.